then. We're on page 184. In the PDF, it's page 200, and where it's der Shalach Manas, das Shalach Manas. Good. Das Shalach Manas hat geweint mit der bitter kinderisch gewein. This Shalach Manas, this Purim gift, was crying with a bitter childish cry. Benjamin hat gleich genommen das Päckel und es zurückgeschickt zu Herschel. Benjamin immediately took this little package and sent it back to Herschel. Also wie die Tür ist gewesen verschlossen, hat man dem Shalach Manas weggelegt bei der Schwell. And seeing as the door was locked, he set this Shalach Manas, this Purim gift, down at the threshold. Nach Purim is der Shalach Manas noch als gepravet geworden. Also lang und breit, bis der Shalach Manas hat sich verkehlt und wird gestorben. After Purim, this Shalach Manas was still being celebrated so long and so wide until this Shalach Manas caught cold and died. Herschel hat eingepackt das kindische Gufel in a Keuschel und zu Fuß ist weggetragen über der Weißel, kein Sakratschin zum Besäulen. Herschel packed up this child's body in a little basket, and on foot he carried it over the Vistula River to Zakratschin, to the cemetery. Weil Lenschin hat kein Besäulem nicht gehabt, because Lenschin, the Unshin, didn't have a cemetery. Sind dem Unglück mit dem Mamser hat die Mischpache Stock sich abgelassen und ungeheuben führen sich hefgerdig, gar nicht wie früher. After this misfortune with the bastard, the Stock family let itself go loose, and it began to carry on in a wild way, hefgerdik, not at all like before. As die Verbitterung und die Busche haben die Menschen der Viert als Madrege, als sie haben schon nicht gehabt, was anzuwehren. It seems that this bitterness and this shame brought the people to such a level that they no longer had anything to lose. Und sie haben genommen Speien auf alles, and they were spitting at everything. Next page. Herschel hat sich nicht umgeguckt mehr auf seine Jüngerlich und nicht gehalten sie mehr in Cheder. Herschel no longer looked around at the kids, at his children, and he no longer kept them in Cheder. Hat euch nicht geahrt, was man hat genommen Murmeln auf der zweite Tochter seiner, was hat euch gedient in Varsha. He also wasn't bothered by the fact that people began to mutter about his second daughter, who is also serving in Warsaw. Sein jüngste Tochter, Shoshe, was ist geblieben in Stub, hat euch getan, was sie hat gewollt. His youngest daughter, Shoshe, who was staying at home, also did whatever she wanted. Ich gedenke einmal, wenn wir, Jünglich, haben sich geboten in Teichel beim Städtel, ist angekommen Shoshe und herübergegangen das Teichel. I remember once, as we children, we boys, were bathing in the river near the town. There came Shosha, and she went over the brook, the river. Dabei hat sie verkaschert ihr Kleid über den Kopf. At that point, she raised her dress over her head, beweisend ihren nackten Körper, für alle Jünglich in die Augen, showing her naked body in the eyesight of all the boys. Wir haben gelacht, geschrien. Sie hat sich ausgedreht und geheißen sich kuschen. We were laughing and shouting. She just turned around and said we could kiss her. Chasidakis, abrochenk in the Beiner. Miserable Chasidim, may you break your bones, hat sie gescholten, und geguckt auf uns mit Hass, and looked with hatred at us. Ihre Brüder, Feivischl und Schleimele, haben euch geschlagen jeden, wer es ist sie unter der Hand gekommen, gesiedelt, beleidigt. Her brothers, Feivischl and Schleimele, also were cursing everyone who came under their hands, cursed them and insulted. Sie haben zugenommen Holz von Kammern, weggelachend ahon, abgeräumt als was nur es hat sich gelost. They grabbed away holz, wood, lumber from the rooms, most likely storage sheds. They stole a chicken. They cleaned off anything which they could. They pflegen euch machen Havayas, Zakalamedlach, von leitische Stuben. They also made gestures at the Kalamedlach, the brides of the houses of
age brides, right? Girls that are of age to marry.
Yeah,
this is
that's
Rachel.
right. So, hi, Rachel. Yeah, this is marriageable women, marriageable girls.
Yeah, marriageable. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
From the good houses. Einmal haben sie viele reingelost zu sich in Stub als Zigeunermischproche, was keiner hat zu sich nicht reingelost. Once they even let into their house a gypsy family, which no one would have let into their house. Herschel and Zelt is Zelten gewen in Huis.
Just let me.
A question? Okay. Herschel is Zelten gewen in Huis. Herschel was seldom at home. Hat sich herumgeschleppt über die Dörfer, wo hat gesucht zu verdienen ein Stückel Brot für sich und sein Haus gesinnt. Herschel was seldom at home. He was dragging himself around all the little villages where he was looking to earn a piece of bread for himself and his household. Fleckt nur heimkommen auf Shabbos and Yontif. He used to come home only for Shabbos and holiday. In Gichen hat man genommen Reden in Stettel, als ist geworden, Yor Edis. Soon they began to say in the town that he had become a Yor Edis. I'm not sure what that is. A
witness for false, somebody who gives false witnesses.
Okay, a
For
hired
money.
witness, huh?
A witness for hire is what it said.
And that word yor, does it mean year or is it a different yor?
Well, the Adis is a Lashon Kodesh
Yeah,
word.
Yadis is a witness, but
Seems
what's
to
yor?
be the year. Well, the word year, but that's what it said.
Okay,
Witness for hire.
witness for hire. Okay, good. Well, that's enough for me.
Sounds right.
Okay, Susan, you want to pick up at this point? Yeah, I also have in my dictionary, yor Edis is a bribed witness.
If we get out and come back in again.
Wenn ein Poyer pflegt verführen a Prozess gegen a zweiten, when one peasant would bring up a legal case against another, ungedarft an Edis für sich and needed a witness for himself, hat man gedungen Herscheln. So they rented out, they employed Herschel, Und hat für a kerbel Edes gesucht. And he was given a kerbel and he gave false witness. Wie der Zad hat gewollt. Just as the side he was working for wanted, he would give whatever witness they wanted. Der Dichter von Stettel, der Poritz Christowski, pflegt machen Spaß über Herschels often Edessuben. The judge of the Stettel, the aristocrat Christowski, used to make fun of Herschel for how often he gave witness. Herschke kann schon so gut die Schwur auf äußern wenig, als ich darf sie nicht suchen mit ihm mehr. Oh, Herschel it knows so well the vow that the particular vow that you say when you're swearing in. He knows it by heart, and that I don't even have to say it with him. Pflegt der Poritz suchen für seine bekannte Jiden. The Poritz, the aristocrat, would say to the Jews he knew. Von deswegen hat Geduld sein Edel.
I think he geduldet. He accepted.
Okay, where is it? I'm looking at my papers very little. Where are we? Von deswegen
Bottom.
hat geduldet sein Edelsum. So I don't know what the geduld, he patiently said his witnessing. A Witzler, an Ausbringer und ein Apikoros hat von alt gemacht Spaß. A joker, somebody who liked to mess things up, and an Apikoros. He made fun of everything. Jeder nimmt Geld, a chutz der Jesu. Everybody takes money except Jesus. Weil hat zugeschlagene Hand, because his hands are tied up.
Now, dulden is to accept or to tolerate. It's Germanic. So he hat geduldet, he tolerated. So the poets tolerated the testimony anyhow.
He had patience with, maybe.
Well, yeah, dulden
Geduld
is
is
in Yiddish, geduld is patience. In German, dulden is to tolerate.
Oh, okay.
Was the judge amused by him? Is that why he
Yes.
tolerated him?
Amused, but still tolerant. Yeah.
Oh, and so everybody takes money except Jesus because his hands are tied up. Pflegt Sogen für die Jiden zuwinkendig mit die Augen. That's what he said to the Jews he knew, winking his eyes.
Now that's a joke that a Jew could never make, but the Christians can make.
Zu lieb sein Epikursus haben jeden Ort der Poritz in Ganzen für kein Goy nicht getracht, because he was such a challenger of an Epicurus. The Jews didn't think of him like they thought of other Goyim. And afilu gezukt auf him, and they even said about him, as est nicht kein chazer, that he didn't eat any pork. Ganz anders wie der Richter, completely different from the judge, hat sich mein Vater bezeugen zu Herschels Edes, completely differently than the judge. my father was looking at Herschel's witness giving. Hat geschickt noch dem Jid und ihm genommen auf vorher. He sent for this Jew and he had a meeting with him. Herschel hat nicht geleugnet. Herschel didn't mind. Rebbe, es gar nicht, hat sich verantwortet. Rabbi, it's nothing, he answered him back. Tu es doch-
Verantworten is to excuse himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hat he answered for himself. Ich tu es doch for Goyim. I do it just for the Goyim. Der Tate hat nicht ungenommen dem Teretz. My father didn't like that excuse. For Jiden, sie for Goyim, a Jid turnish schwer and falsch. Whether for Jews or for Goyim, a Jew should not give false witness. Das ist eine von die 10 Geboten. This is one of the 10 commandments. Die ganze Welt hat gezittert, wenn Gott hat gesagt auf dem Berg Sinai. The whole world trembled when God said on Mount Sinai, sollst nicht schweren falsch. You do not make false accusations. Herschel hat weggemacht mit der Hand. Herschel brushed it off. Rebbe, ich sage viele nicht die Schwur richtig. Rabbi, I don't even say the oath properly. Hat geteinet, he kind of answered back. As der Senche, the Richter, sucht Budje, such ich heute. When the judge says Budje, whatever that is, I say Hudje.
Yeah, budya, I think, means it will be or it should be.
Okay. Wenn der Tate hat ihm genommen, straschen mit Gehennem, when my father started to threaten him with going to hell, hat Herschel schwere 17 rausgelost. Herschel let out very hard breathing von sein mächtige Brust, from his broad chest. Rav. Echel schein nicht. Rabbi, won't do it anymore. Hat zugesagt, he promised. Ich hab es getun für Weib und Kinder. I only did it for my wife and children. Aber in Giechen hat man wieder genommen reden in Stettel wegen Herschels your Edis. But very soon they were talking again in town about Herschel's false witnessing. Wus mehr min hat Herschelen Barret als verbittert is geworden auf allemen. The more they talked badly about Herschel, the more bitter he became towards everything. Sein Verbitterung is gewesen, aber berechtigte. His bitterness was
Justifiable.
Oh, okay, could be justified. Hat gewollt hacken Holz. He wanted to do wood chopping, zu verdienen sein Brot, to earn his bread. Tun andere schwere Arbeiten and do other hard work, other labor. Aber jeden haben gedungen für asa Arbeit dem Schwab. Dem Schwab Schmidt. Oh, but Jews instead hired the Swabian Schmidt. I guess it was kind of German Swabian peasants that lived in there.
A particular family named Schmidt, Smith.
Oh, they talked about him previously.
That's right.
Okay. Der Tiritz is gewesen, the excuse was, as dus is an arbeit for a goy, that this is a work fitting for a goy. Nicht for a Yid, not for a Jew. Ich gedenk einmal, wie Herschel is weg, Freitag, Fartag, zu der Wiesel ungehabt Fisch. I remember one time when Herschel left at dawn to catch fish. There is
At the Vistula River.
Yes, the Vistula River to catch fish. Is zurückgekommen in Stettel mit nasse, verkatschete Häusen. He came back to the Stettel with wet, rolled up pants, bis die Knie, rolled up to his knees. Borves und in Bläusen Hemd. Barefoot and just in his shirt und Hosen and his pants. What would be Bloisen?
Only.
Only, oh yeah, only Blois, only in his shirt and pants. Wie a Poyer, like a peasant. In sein Hand hat gehalten etliche Riedlich mit silberne, zappeldicke Hecht. In his hand, he held a few like poles with silvery spotted hecht is a kind of fish.
It's a pike, I think.
A pike, yes, that's it. With silvery spotted pike. Rebbitzin kauft lebendige Hechtlich. Rebbitzin buy these still living pikes, little pikes. Hat vorgelegt, he suggested. Die Mama hat bei ihm gekauft. Mother bought them from him. Hat sich geklugt, als geht herum über die Stuben, nur keiner will bei ihm nicht kaufen. He complained that he went over the houses, and that means in some cases to go begging from house to house, but nobody wants to buy from him. To gehen über die Häuser means to go begging, and you see that in Marc Chagall's paintings, the Jewish figure who's going over the rooftops. By a goy kauft man, by mir nicht. They buy from a goy, but they don't buy from me. Hat gesucht mit bitternis, he said with bitterness. I'll read one more little paragraph. Weib Ettel hat gewollt gehen waschen wäsch. His wife Ette wanted to take in washing, aber euch sie hat man nicht genommen, but they also wouldn't take her. Nor goyes, weil man hat gehalten, als das ist nicht kein Arbeit für kein Jiden. Only Gentile women, because people assumed that this is not a work for a Jewish woman. Okay. Somebody else want to read, or want I go? to read?
Yankel?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Die Mischpoche hat gemusst suchen das Stickelbräut auf andere Wegen. Hat man sie der Fahr barret, ausgemieden und seine Verbitterung ist gewachsen. So the family had to find their sustenance, find this piece of bread in other ways. And for this reason, they would they would slander them, avoid them, and their bitterness towards the Jews grew. Their Reisenischen mit Benjamin Schneider haben sich gar nicht eingestellt. Their quarrel with Benjamin Schneider didn't let up. Also haben sie euch sich herumgerissen mit anderen Mischpoches, mit Mordechai Schneider, mit Joseph Schneider. And in the same way, they argued with other families, with Mordechai Schneider and Joseph Schneider. Man hat sich gekriegt über ein Top, über ein Emmer Wasser, über ein Spon Holz, über Loschen Horror und Rechiles. So they argued about a pot, about a bucket of water, about wood shavings, about speaking badly of people and gossip.
Yeah, a spon is just a piece of wood, like ein spon zwei Spanner. It's not a shaving necessarily.
Okay. Okay, so piece over a piece of wood, right. Überhaupt pflegen ausbrechen die Kriegereien in Jontefsteg, wenn man hat gehabt Zeit. And these arguments broke out really, especially over the festive days when people had time. Einmal in a Simchas Torah is ausgebrochen a Geschläge zwischen Ot die Mischpoches, als man hat nicht bloß genutzt die Hände, nor euch Steiner und a viele Messers. So once at Simchas Torah time, the rejoicing of the Lord time, a fight broke out between these families. Not only did they use their hands, but they used also stones and even knives. Die Weiber und die Kinder haben sich geschlagen zwischen sich, gemähmisst sich. The women and the children also fought among them, among themselves, beating each other up. Der Tate meiner ist gesessen blass und verschämt. Hören dich die Meisim von sein Eder. My father sat pale and embarrassed, hearing these things about his community. Der noch pflegen weggehen Klages in Gericht und Eidessorgernischen und Beschuldigungen und Falschschweren und Asei Onasof. And after that, the complaints would come in court, giving evidence and accusations and false swearing, and this without end. A Chutz Herrschelen seinen euch gewähnt noch etliche Jiden, was haben der Eide kein Covid nicht gebracht. Besides Herschel, there were several other Jews who brought no honor to the community. Überhaupt ist gewähnt Zores mit dem blinden Meier, a Pferdganef, was pflegt alle Montag und Donnerstag a Reus führen beieinander bei der Boss, a Pferd von Staller a Reus. Especially, there were problems with a man called Blind Mayer, who was a horse thief, who used every Monday and Thursday, every now and then, he would take out from one of the householders' stalls a horse. He would, it appears he would steal a horse. Und der Meier, a heucher Jung mit ein Oig, weil das zweite hat verloren in a Geschläg mit Peurim, hat nebach gehat sehr a bitteren Sof. So this Mayor, a tall young man with one eye, who lost his other eye in a fight with the peasants, he unfortunately came to a very bitter end. Wenn die Schwaben haben ihm einmal gepackt gewann a Pferd, haben sie allein über ihm a Mischbet gemacht und ihm a reingeworfen a Lebedicken in a Kessel heiß Wasser, in welche sie haben abgebrüht gekeulete Chaserim. When the Swabians caught him once stealing a horse, they made like a kangaroo court. And they field court, and they decided that he was guilty, and as punishment, they threw him a living being into a pot of hot water in which they were boiling slaughtered pigs. Die Polizei hat gemacht an Ausforschung, aber das Dorf hat keinem nicht herausgegeben. The police made an inquiry about this, but the town didn't say what had happened.
No, they didn't give away anybody.
Oh, they didn't give away. Okay, right. It didn't give away anybody. After Levaya von dem blinden Meier ist noch gekommen seine Schwester, Mordche Schneiders Weib, und ihm beweint mit dieselbe Klogerede, was frumme Weiber beweinen sehr frumme Mannen. At the funeral for the blind mayor, his sister, Mordechai Schneider's wife, followed the funeral procession, and she lamented with the same sort of lamenting talk which religious women would lament their religious husbands. Oi, is doch gewinn a so teure Tzadik, hat die Idene geklagt. He was such a wonderful, dear, righteous person, this woman lamented. Beim ganzen Unglück haben Menschen sich nicht gekannt einhalten von Gelächter. Über Ort die Schwachim auf dem blinden Meier. At this terrible misfortune, people couldn't hold their laughter in concerning the praises of the blind Mayor. Der blinde Mayor ist nicht gewesen einer in der Mishpoche. So he was, the blind mayor was not the only one in the family. Sein Schwester Singel Beryl is gegangen in Vetters Wegen. His nephews, his sister's son, Beryl, went in his uncle's ways. Ot der Beryl, mit wem ich hab gelernt in ein Cheder, is gewesen a jung, a Masik von Kindweis an, a Kassen und a Schläger, vor wem alle Englisch haben gezittert. So this little boy Beryl, with whom I learned in the same cheder, he was a younger mazik. He was a devil of a child from childhood on. He was very angry, and he was a child who beat people. And all the other little boys trembled, were very frightened of him. Hat Tomit getrogen in Keshene a Kneperl, a Messerel was hat gehat a Teve zu scharfen auf jeden Stein, was hat angetroffen. He used to carry around in his pocket a little pocket knife, and little knife which he would usually sharpen on every stone that he came across. Einmal in a Yontef hat zu lieb Kibud Av rausgenommen das Kneperl und in Beschmedres gestochen dem Levi Avrom Katzap. So once on a Yontef, because of something honoring his father, he took out his little pocket knife in the study house, and he stabbed Avrom Avrom Katzap the Levi.
Now, a
Die meisten-
kneperl, it's an interesting word. A knape is most likely the word to pinch. So we call it this little knife he's calling a pincher, I think. And the word katsap usually means it's a derogatory term for a Russian. So the name, Levi Avram Katsap is a very strange name.
Right, yeah. It's a pejorative word.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so die meiste is gewesen, was in unser Städtel seinen die Schlägers gewesen aller Kohanim. So the story went that in our town, all the Schlägers, the leaseholders, were Kohanim. Herschel is gewesen a Kohen. Und Mordechai Schneider is gewesen a Kohen. Und a viele der blinder Meyer is gewesen a Kohen. So Herschel was a Cohen, Mordechai Schneider was one, and even the blind Meyer was a Cohen. Jeden in Beschmedres pflegen 17 jedes Mal, wenn ot die Kohanim haben ausgetan die Stiefel, gewaschen sich die Hände und gebencht Kohl. So the Jews in the study house used to sigh heavily each time when these Kohanim, these priests, would take off their boots and wash their hands and bless the community.
Do you want to describe duchening here?
Yeah, duchening is when it happens on Yontef, and the Kohanim stand in front of the congregation, facing the congregation, with their talesim over their heads and over their fingers, with their fingers open. I don't know if you can see my hands. Opened, fingers opened, and they would say the priestly blessing over the congregation, in front of the congregation.
And in
And these-
preparation, they would take off their shoes, and the
Their shoes.
Levium would help them wash their hands.
Wash their hands, right, correct. Okay. Die Emerser Bencher hat man gesagt, and these are real people who are are people who can give blessings, they said, ironically. Jeden Leitzim pflegen noch ein Duchenen begegnen die Bencher und anstatt sagen sie, ja, Shekoyach Kohen, wie es 40, haben sie gesagt, Gich Stoch Kohen. So, after the Kohanim had blessed the community, after the duchening, they would, people would approach the ones who had given the blessings, and instead of saying to them, Yasha Koyach, thank you, Kohen, as one would normally do, they said quickly, Stoch, Kohen, stab, Kohen. Wenn die Kohanim haben das ausgefunden, pflegen sie obdienen mit demselben und anstatt sagen Baruch Tie, haben sie geantwortet Abruch dir. So, when the Kohanim found out about this, they would give back the same medicine, and instead of saying Baruch Tie, may you be blessed, they would answer Abroch, the opposite, Abroch dir, you should come to harm. Beleidigter von alle anderen Juden über die Shene Kahonim seinen gewähnte Levim. Meistens bekovedike Juden, Leumdim, was haben gedarft, waschen die Kohen die Hand. So insulted more than anybody by these very fine, in inverted commas, Kohanim, were the Levium, who were mostly honorable Jews, learned people, who had to wash the hands of the Kohanim. Es ist sei der Esek nicht anstanden. They felt that this was it didn't befit them to do the washing of these Prosteyiden, even though they were Kohanim. Der Pfarr haben sie mit Hanoah gewaschen die Hände bei meinen Taten, was ist euch gewesen Kohen. And for that reason, they would wash my father's hands very willingly, because he was also a Kohen. Ich pfleg sich allemal schämen, wenn mein Tate pflegt sich wegstellen zusammen mit Ot die übrige Kohen im Benchenkal. I would always be very embarrassed when my father would stand together with the other Kohanim and bless the congregation. Einmal in a Yontov hat der Levi Avram, was man hat ihm gerufen mit dem Zunamen Katzab, weil hat gedient von ihnen, abgesagt sich zu waschen die Hände dem Kohen Mordechai Schneider, dem blinden Meiers Schwager, weil wie hat geteinet, hat der Mordechai Schneider falsch Eides gesagt in Gericht gegen ihm, Avram Katzab. So once on a Yontif, this Avram, the Levi, who was called with the nickname Katzap, the Russian, because he had served in the Russian army, he refused to wash the hands of Mordechai Schneider, the blind mayor's brother-in-law, because, as he claimed, this Mordechai Schneider had given false witness against him in court, given false witness against him, Avram, the Russian, in court. A falscher Eides tor nicht duchenen, und ich will ihm nicht die Hände waschen, hat geteinet Avram Katzab, a Proster, aber ein ehrlicher Jid. One should never give a false witness. Someone who gives false witness should not should not bless the congregation. And I will not wash his hands. He claimed, Avram, the Russian, claimed. He was a common Jew, but he was an ehrlicher Yid. He was an honest Jew. Okay.
Rachel, are you here?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, I'm here. I didn't. Yeah, I can learn. I did not prepare, but I'll try.
Good.
Okay. Okay. Mordechai's Engel, Berl, und doch hat so übergenommen mit der Busche, was man hat angetan sein Vater für ein Eulen, als ist wie ein Tiger, aufgesprungen auf dem heuchen, gesunden Avram Katzab und ihm reingestochen mit dem Knäperl im Nacken. Mit keinem seien die Mitzwe von Kibbut Av. Okay. The son of Mordechai, Berl, he was upset with the embarrassment that they brought about to his father in front of the congregation, that just like a tiger, he jumped at the tall, healthy-looking Avram Katzab, and he stabbed him with that particular knife. What is knuckle?
It's his, the nape of the neck, I think. His neck.
Mhm.
Neck?
Yeah.
No, probably, yeah. In the neck.
The back of your neck. Specifically.
What did you say?
The back of your neck.
Oh, okay. To carry out the instruction, the religious instruction of respecting your father. Aber auch die etliche Mischpoche seinen Gewinn an Ausnahmen in Städten. But these few families were unusual in the town. Die Ibergeiden, גם geboren und erzeugen in Dörfer zwischen Feuerin, seinen Merzens gewinn stille, fromme Leid, was haben kein Flieg auf der Wand nicht angerührt. The rest of the Jews, even though they were born and raised in villages among those peasant going, most of them were quiet, religious people. They did not even touch a flea on the wall. Sie haben euch gelechtet noch ein Wort teurer. Teil von sie haben gesucht, ihre Inglach zu machen für London. Andere haben sich ausgebringt und genommen Adams. Lerner für ihre Töchter. Oh, und genommen Adams Lerner für ihre Töchter. Okay. So, they also yearned for a word of Torah. Part of them were looking to make their sons scholars, and others haben sich ausgebringt. They made an effort and took sons-in-law who were scholars for their daughters. Der Dorfgeher Leser pflegt a ganze Woche weigern sich über die Dörfer, aber wenn pflegt dahin kommen auf Schabbos, hat gelernt teure a ganzen Tag. That Leser who was wandering around the villages, the whole
A traveling
week,
salesman.
salesman, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. He was salesman was wandering around around the villages. But when he came home for Shabbos, he used to study Torah a whole day. Der Jid hat sich allein ausgelernt lernen Chok, was besteht von Stücklach von Tanach, Mishnayos und Gemore. So this Jew taught himself, I guess, Jewish law, which consists of parts of the Bible, of the Mishnah, and of Gemara. Und pflegt
What
den ganzen
exactly
Shabbat.
is Chok? What exactly is Chok?
Chok is law. The word chok is law in Hebrew. And that's and it refers, I understand, to Jewish law. And Jewish law starts from Bible, but then the Mishnah. In the Mishnah, there are interpretations of Jewish law by the rabbis, by the sages of the Mishnah, and then the sages of the Gemara continued interpreting Jewish law, and that's in the Gemara. So that's the chok. So Jewish law is not just in one book, but in all three of them.
My impression is that there must have been a book called Chok, which consisted of these pieces of Tanakh and Mishnayos and Gemara. But I'm not
Really?
familiar with what that book is.
But a chok,
I never knew. They didn't teach me this in cantorial school. What I said now. Okay.
But,
That'll be interesting to find out.
a chok is usually, they refer to a law which doesn't have any logic to it, like the para aduma, for example. You can't
okay.
find a reason for why this law was instituted. It's not like another law where don't steal, don't kill. There's an obvious reason for social, the good running of society, but a chok is like the para aduma, which is something which it cannot be explained logically, and that's what a chok is.
But why? But then again, I wonder why do they call the para aduma chok?
Well,
What
that
is
was
the logic?
for if someone with the laws of tumor, which are very
I know
involved.
with the para aduma.
Yeah, so it's something which it's you can't explain it logically. Why finding a red heifer, burning it, and getting the ash? Why this should?
But why is it called chok? Why is para aduma under chok?
Because it's one of those laws that cannot be explained logically, whereas a mishpat is a law that can be explained logically.
But here, I think they're not using the technical meaning of chok. I think they're using a more general meaning of chok.
Just as law, as
just
Jewish
as law.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think it might even be as I said, it might be referring to a particular volume that people would study, although I've never heard of this particular volume.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
I haven't either. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to investigate it. So that's interesting. Okay, anyway. Und fliegt a ganze Schabe sitzen und onjogen dem Chok für a ganze Woche. Hagamer ist gewesen mit und zerbrochen von a ganze Woche schleppen sich mit a Sack über die Dörfer. He used to sit a whole Shabbos and follow the Chok for a whole week, even though he was tired and broken down from dragging himself with a bag over the villages. Der Schneider Jonathan, a gestuppelter Jid, hat sich so lang gedreht, jeden Lomdin, bei dem sie uns zugehört sich zu sehr teure, als hat mit der Zeit sich ausgelernt, nicht nur Chumash und Rashi, nur auch viele Perek Mishnayos. Okay. The tailor, Jonathan, what is gestuppelter? That's the word
pockmarked. The effects of pimples or of having pox.
Okay, thank you.
Pockmarked.
I see, okay. Thank you. Hat sich so lang gedreht, he was spending time around scholars for so long, he was waiting on them and listening to the Torah, to the learning, that with time he learned not only Chumash and Rashi, but even a chapter of Mishnah. Also wie hat gehabt eine gute Stimme, hat euch genommen davenen von Armut und davenen ungreisen, weil hat verstanden den Perisch Amiles. Okay. Since he had a good voice, he also started praying in front of the Amud,
Well, davening fahren Ahmed is an expression which means he would daven in front of the congregation.
yeah,
But the-
okay, that's,
He
yeah,
would-
okay.
He would lead the service.
Yes,
Okay, he would lead the service and he would do it, he would lead the service without mistakes because he understood the meaning of the words.
this implies that people often would daven with mistakes because they didn't understand the meaning of the words. Very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, well, yeah, people sing all kinds of languages without understanding. Yeah, and Hebrew in particular in Shul.
Yeah.
Ja. Okay, mit der Zeit hat sich euch angetan Schabes an atlesene Kapotte und genommen vorn zu a chassidischen Rebben. With time, he also put on himself is this a velvet?
Satin.
A satin? I never know this. Yeah, the kinds of
It's a
material.
cloth, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I know. A satin capote, and he started traveling to a Hasidic rabbi. Die Schneiders haben von ihm gelacht, was ist geworden ein schöner Jid und ein Chassid. So now the tailors were laughing at him that he became like a nice Jew, that's a religious Jew, and a Chassid. Aber Jonathan hat sich von sehr Gelächter nicht gemacht. But Jonathan did not care about their laughter. Kind of ignore it. Hat euch für seine Tochter Sarale, als Schneiderin, genommen an Edem a Lerner, wenn man hat ausgehalten mit Käse. He also took for his daughter, Sarale, who was also a tailor, a dressmaker, you can say. He took for her a groom who's also a scholar, whom he supported, to whom he was giving support. Der posterjunger Mann, Herr Schleib, a kräftiger Jung, was so mamisch gewures bewiesen, hat euch gekrogen Geschick zu der Teure. This simpleton, this simple young man, Herr Schleib, a strong-bodied youth who was really showing great physical strength, he also started to show a desire to study Torah. He vielleicht zugehen zu Aiden und beten, man soll mit dem lernen a Parsha Chumash. He used to go to a Jew and ask that Jew should learn with him a section of Chumash. Chumash is the 5 books of Moses. A viele English fleck der beten zu lernen mit him. He even asked young guys to learn with him. In die freie Schoen fleckt sich reintun in der Teure, dieser hat sich mit der Zeit euch gelernt, a viele allein lernen a Blatt Gemore. In his free time, he used to delve into the Torah until with time he even learned how to learn a page of Gemara. And that's an expression, a blood, daf Gemara, a blood Gemara. Sein Bruder, maybe, Steve, you want to read? Hello?
Not today, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Should I continue?
Sure.
Okay, I can continue forever. I love it. I ran away from another class for this. Sein Bruder Joshua Schneider, ein ausgedienter Soldat, was Tommy erzählt Nissen und Nifloes von seinem Dienst bei Fonien, geht Steve in Rassi, vielleicht lachen von seinem Bruder Herr Schleib, was ist geworden a Lamden auf der Eltern. So his brother Joshua was a tailor, and he was a discharged soldier, a pest soldier, who always was telling about miracles from the time of his service in it's like it's the Tsar's army, Fonia, the Din Fonia. Somewhere deep in Russia, he used to laugh at his brother Hershleib, who became a scholar in his young age.
His old age.
Did I say young?
Yeah.
See, that's what I wanted to be. Okay. Okay. Ja, wer will sein alt, ja. Aber Herr Schleib hat ihn geschwiegen und gehalten sich Stoll und Eisen bei sein Lernen. But Herr Schleib was quiet about it. And he kept himself proud and strong with his learning. Wir Jünglach pflegen beten Herr Schleben, soll beweisen seinen Gewures. We, young guys, we used to ask Herr Schleib, he should show us his strength, what he get, his physical strength. Like perform in front of us some physical strength exercises. Aber hat nicht gewollt, weil hat gewollt vergessen in seiner mollig Prostleben, in welchem Gewura hat sich gerechnet via Meile. Okay. But he did not want to show that physical strength because he wanted to forget about his past irreligious, simple life where physical strength was considered to be a virtue. Hat besser gewollt seine Cholosh, wie alle übrige Lerners, die Käst Edemlach. He rather preferred to be a weakling, like all the other scholars, those who are being supported by their fathers-in-law. Bloß einmal in Purim noch a Kreuse vergessen in sein Lomdes und a rausgewiesen Gewures. Only one time in Purim, einmal in Purim, it's once in a blue moon. That's the expression, einmal in Purim. One time in a blue moon, he after a drink, he forgot about his learning, and he showed his physical strength.
I believe this is actually Purim itself. It's
Purim, yeah, because of the koise. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Hat sich weggestellt in der Tür von nach Haus, wo Chassidim haben geholt. Und keinem nicht gelost a rausgehen. He put himself by the door of a house where Hasidim were partying, and he did not let anybody go outside. Etliche Millionen Lobenden haben ihm nicht gekannt rühren von Ort. A few million of scholars, a few tens, like tens of million is 10, a few tens of scholars could not move him from his place. He was so strong.